Hello everybody and welcome back to Coloring with Haley. It's that time of the month again, time for finished pages, which is always everyone's favorite time of the month. Real quick, I'm going to show you all of my used markers for this month. I went through a lot of them, and you'll see why. I think I did a lot of color by numbers this month. I did want to show you something weird. This isn't exactly a used marker. This is one of my Spectrum Noir markers. I was going to use it because it still has ink in it. Has this ever happened to anyone? I opened it and it's just broke. Can you see that? Like, the marker tip is stuck in here and it like broke off. And I didn't like forcefully pull this open or anything. I just opened it like I normally would and it's just broke. I don't know. The other end is fine. I've never dropped these or anything, so I don't know what happened there. Is this something that happens with these sometimes? I have no idea. It's just broke and it was really bizarre. So, there's that one. There are some more Spectrum Noir markers. A lot of my Ohuhu markers I'm going through. All of these are Ohuhu markers. I guess you can tell what set I use the most. And then these are all really old Cali Art markers, so used up a ton of markers this month. Let's get into the books, and I will tell you something. I have been very busy and very stressed this month. I need to do a color and chat. I keep saying that, but I just haven't had the time to sit down and do it. College started this month, and there was kind of a big snafu there. They messed up my schedule really badly. The schedule I was handed, they generate schedules for you every semester based on the classes that you need to have and classes that you, when you first started college, said you were interested in taking. So they just generate those for you, and it was supposed to be 2 classes for me this semester. That's what my generated thing said. I was just taking 2 classes, a big biology class and a big literature class. And I went to buy my textbooks, and there were a ton of textbooks there, and I was really confused about it. So I emailed my advisor. It turns out they messed up my schedule. I'm actually in 6 classes this semester, not 2, which was obviously kind of a big shock. So I'm not sure. I don't think I'm going to be doing the snack timber tag that I had talked about, because when I planned to do that tag later this year, I was thinking that I would have more free time than I obviously do. That was quite a big shock. So yeah, very stressed this month. So I colored a lot of color by number pages, and I ended up coloring more pages than I've ever colored in a month. And I think it was because I was just so stressed that I was sitting down and just coloring all these color by number pages, trying to not be stressed, even though I had less free time than I've had in previous months. Like in previous months, I was spending my free time doing all kinds of other things as well as coloring, but this month I was like, I just need to color all of that stress away before I explode. So let's start out with this Color Questopia book. This is the only Color Questopia I have. It's the black background animals, and I don't know how I feel about this book. I did color a lot of pages in it. I own it, so I'm going to color in it, and I do think that coloring the individual tiles in it is relaxing, but I don't know how I feel about the finished pages. So first up here we have this elephant page, which is fine. This one doesn't bother me as much as some of the other ones do, but I don't really know why the elephant was green in the middle. But this one's fine. I've been using up some of these old marker sets trying to get rid of some of them that are half dry. Like this set of Cali Art markers that I have before Cali Art redesigned their markers is very old, and some of the markers are half dry, and so I use those a lot in here just to kind of finish them off and get rid of them. So you're going to see that the colors aren't consistent, and this is the one anyway that has the huge weird color key to begin with. Next up, if I could get to it, I did this dog. Now this one is one of the ones that I'm kind of like, eh. The animal is fine. It's like the person who, I don't know if Color Questopia is just one artist or multiple. I'm going to assume it's multiple, like Jade Summer. they know how to do the animal. They get the animal in there, and then it's like they don't really know what to do for the background, so they just pick a lot of random colors, and they're like, let's put some blue here, some hot pink here, how about some orange there, green there, we gotta do some purple here, and sometimes it just comes out a hot mess. So I really like how the little dog looks, but yeah, I'm not sure about this background. Here's another one that's kind of a mess, this little monkey. This page was just a mess. Okay, so I have some stuff written down here, some little notes. There are 23 numbers on this page, but you can see that the color list only goes to 22. So I just picked something random for 23 that I thought might look nice. And then colors number 13 and 18 were not used at all in this picture. That was a little bit weird and confusing. I was sitting there for a long time looking for both of those colors and never found them. Another problem that I have with a lot of these pages, and I don't know if it's just this book, because a lot of you guys own Color Questopia books, but I don't see that many finished pages out of them, so maybe it's all of them. I don't know. Maybe it's just this one. There are a lot of times when I'm coloring and there's just not a number. It's a blank space, but okay, well, for most books, you would think that means leave it white, right? But in these, it's like in the middle of a pattern. You know what I mean? I don't see any blank ones on this one here, but I know there was earlier on the elephant page, and I just kind of guessed at what color I thought it would be. But for example, you kind of see how there's this pattern here with the blue. You know, one of these might be left blank, and so I just kind of guess at what color that I think goes with it to fill it in. Very weird. Has me kind of side-eyeing some of the Color Questopia books for sure, though. And then I also did this rhino page, which I would have liked more if the sky was just blue and didn't have the oranges in it, but that's okay. This one here, I can see that this, like, right here didn't have a number on it at all. So I just guessed what color brown that it might be in. And it could have been grass, but I'm thinking it is part of the rhino. It definitely would be weird to leave it white. So yeah, that's just a heads up about this book if you're interested in this book, or if you have it. Is yours weird too? Does it have a lot of blank spaces? I don't know. My feelings on this are conflicted. Like I said, I didn't color a lot in it because it's relaxing to just color the shapes, and I guess the fact that they turn into an animal is a bonus, but yeah, some of them are a little bit weird. Alright, next up I have 50 Vacation Miniatures, which I just did a page out of. I did this penguin and the ice cream cone. Maybe that's an ice cream shop, maybe it's his house, I don't know, with the ice cubes down here, but this is the page I did. And I really like how this one came out. I used some glitter down here on like the door. You can see that there. And there is paint on here. I did the ice cubes in paint. And I like how those turned out, the melting ice cubes that are pink here. Because I thought they'd be reflecting this pink ground, which, yeah, I did make the ground pink because I was kind of thinking maybe it's like melted ice cream. And then some white paint to do some of the highlights and around here on the cherries. And these sprinkles are done in the Milky Pop gel pens from Pentel. They're not my favorite. They're definitely not as nice as the metallic ones that they have, but I do have a set of them, and so I just try to use them sometimes, and I thought the pastel sprinkles would look good, so yeah, I use those to do pastel sprinkles. But there's that page from that one. Alright, let's get a couple books down here, because I'm reaching up behind me to grab books. So I have Easy Halloween by Joshua Dunbar. I did 2 in here just because I like this book and would like to finish it, so I picked up a couple pages. I did this skeleton here. I just thought that was a funny page, so I did this. And there were a few spots on this disco ball that had been colored black, and I thought perhaps those were these spots that were like shining, so I did those with just various metallic gel pens, as you can see. But I just color these pages with alcohol markers and kind of just follow the grayscale shading that he has lined out for you. So these are pretty simple. And then I did this interesting batch of candy here, and I kind of messed it up on my peppermints. They're backwards, I think. At least I'm almost certain that the red and white on these is like backwards. I did put some paint on them to try and fix it, but you can see the red bleeding through a little bit. Oh well. And there are some highlights on these other pieces of candy. These trick-or-treat bags, which are very interesting. This one is definitely Halloween here with the candy corn and the popcorn. And then you get this one that's like, okay, licorice and gumdrops, alright. But then you get this one that's like butterscotch candies and peppermints and like various little hard candies here, and you're like, I don't know if that one's really Halloween candy. That's the house that the other kids are like, don't go to that house because they're giving you unwrapped like peppermints. Don't eat them. That was like what I was thinking when I was coloring this one. This is the house that you might avoid, whereas these two are the houses that you definitely want to go get candy from those. I don't know, maybe some of you don't like candy corn. I don't like candy corn, but I would eat the popcorn out of it. Oh, and there is glitter on this one. I forgot about that. I did it around the little labels that say trick or treat. Up next is SciFi Maze, a book I'm trying to finish. I have 2 pages left. Hopefully I'll get it done next month. And the reason I came back to this has to do with my August video. If you saw my haul video, I love to use Copic markers in this book to do these skin tones in particular. And I just hit a wall where I was at with skin tones. I didn't have that many. I was tired of using the same ones over and over, and if you saw my haul video, I found a bunch of Copic markers for really cheap locally, and I was very lucky to find those. So I colored some more pages out of this. This is Officer Laserbeam. She is 29 years old. She is currently on patrol under the Asteroid Belt Police Headquarters, and she is an official police officer in space. So I kind of did her in like a blue and red, like police sirens, but also gave her gray hair because she seems a little bit robotic, a little bit like a cyborg to me. And there's some white paint highlights on her glasses and her lips. And her neck here, this had this interesting pattern on it, and I did it with red and blue glitter. I really like how she turned out. I really like the skin tones I was able to create with the Copic markers for her. These are using some of the new ones, and I think she looks really good. And then, let me get back here. We had Debbie Download, who's 18. She lives on Jupiter, and she likes all of the sports that you can play, it says. So here's what she looks like. Gave her green hair, used a, what are they, the Spectrum Noir markers on this, and started to run out of it down here, so you can see the streaks a little bit, but that's okay. Used the Posca pins to outline these crystals that she's wearing on this like very interesting headpiece she's got over her eyes there. And lots of glitter gel pen on here too. It is on her big gauge earrings there, and the chain on this necklace down here is done with it, and her little antenna up there is done with it as well. I like making these as colorful as possible. Oh, and her braces. Her braces are also done with it. I don't know if you can tell, if it's going to catch it. There we go. I like making these as colorful as possible. They're very interesting caricatures, almost, I would say, of people. So yeah, making these bright and colorful is so much fun, and I have just 2 pages left in here. Next up, because I got the Copic markers, I went back to Wild Soul by Grazia Salvo. I had colored a page in here, and I showed it to you guys, and I talked about how I just didn't have enough Copic markers to do the rest of the pages. Like, it doesn't have enough skin tones and animal fur colors. But I picked it back up this month with all of that. This is an Amazon edition, but it does have nicer paper in it. It's got the nicer slick paper in it. So I did this lady here, and I need some work with my dark skin tones. You can tell kind of in her face that I definitely need some work with. I need more practice. But this page was very good practice, and I am happy with how it turned out. I used lots of warm colors on this page, and even though I've kind of messed up on her face a little bit, like I said, I'm still very happy with how it turned out. I especially like my little lamb. I think he turned out cute. And honestly, the hardest part of this was her shirt down here, trying to follow this weird squiggly pattern. It was very hard to do for me, who can't even draw like a straight line. So trying to follow that was very hard. But I am happy with how this turned out. I really like how my mirror turned out, especially. I did a darker color for the background and this brighter yellow here. And it is supposed to be a mirror, but I really did want it to be framed red around her because it matches kind of her red lips and her red outfit. Still very happy with that. And like I said, I'd only done one other page in here, and it was this flamingo page because I just happened to have enough colors to be able to do that one. Okay, let's get some more books down. Another color by number, I pulled out Cute Dinosaurs by Sachin Sachdeva, and I did this dinosaur here eating a burger and fries. I don't know, I guess he's like at McDonald's maybe, because of the soda machine in the background. But this one turned out alright. Again, I was using old colors on it, so some of them are a little bit, you can kind of see some streaking on it, but that's okay with me. I don't mind, especially for the color by number pages. It's more about the process of coloring them to me than it is about the actual finished page. It's more about the process of just coloring these little shapes and stuff that I find relaxing. So, did that little guy. I pulled this book back out. I kind of grayscaled myself out last year finishing the Chibi Girl's grayscale, but I pulled this one out and I did this page here since it was back to college for me, and I did a classroom in a lab. I'm not like in a chemistry lab, which is kind of what she looks like. She is in, I'm in a biology lab, but I felt this like applied anyway. She's very cute, although she is not being very safe in the lab. That's what I look at. Like, that is what I see when I look at this picture, and I'm probably the only person in the world who colored that and then thought about that. But it's true. She's not being very safe. First of all, the long hair, no. They won't even let you in a lab with long hair. You have to have that up in a ponytail. Second of all, she's just wearing her glasses here, but she needs some kind of goggles around those, especially doing chemistry. Stuff might splatter on your face. And then third, no gloves. We're just bare-handing whatever is in these flasks here. That could be hot. You have no idea. And then, look at this. These fumes right by her face. No mask. You don't know if that's toxic to breathe in. I mean, I made them green, so they kind of are toxic fumes. You're not supposed to do that. They would kick her out of a lab in an instant, and they would probably say, don't come back. That's my little rant, but this was a very fun page to color. I really enjoyed this one. I put a lot of paint on here. It's around all of these flasks, you can see. Made them look like they were clear, and then I did the green paint over my green fumes here. And I used some of the Ranger glaze to do her glasses. Can you kind of tell there that they're like glazed over a little bit? Yeah, I think you can. I thought about doing it on the flasks, but I had already done them in white paint, and if you remember, I've talked before, if you use white Posca paint and then try to put the Ranger glaze over it or around it, it makes the page so wet that it will reactivate the alcohol ink underneath it, and that will bleed through and make the Posca paint tinted that color. So I just decided against it and just did her little glasses, but I think they are cute. I did a few pages in 50 Farmers Miniatures this month. The first one was this donkey, and I tried a different method of outlining for this one, and I didn't like it, so I'm not going to continue with it. I'm going to continue doing it the way I do it, which is a more simplified version of it, but I had to do the donkey because I have donkeys and I love them. So just a simplistic kind of fall themed page. I did do this for Misty's Autumn August, since he's carrying like the sunflowers and the pumpkins back here. It's definitely kind of an autumn theme. And then Misty and I colored this one together for her tag, Misty's Autumn August. And I did them like they were dried corn stalks, kind of like what you might see decorative. My mom always puts them up for decoration. And there is a little bit of glitter on this page. This little pig here has a glittery bow. This is such a cute book. This might be one of the first miniatures books that I finish. I just love every page in this one. They are all so cute. Missy's page turned out really cute as well. I enjoy this book so much. Definitely my favorite miniatures. Keeping up with the kind of like farm theme, we have Country Chibis. I did 2 more pages out of here. This is another book that I would like to work to finish because I really enjoy coloring in it and I enjoy the finished pages. This is Alexandra Francese's work. I did this page here with the girl that's gone to like the fair because our local little fair happens in August, so the timing felt right. And there's just a little bit of white highlights down here on the fish that she's won, but she has won a ton of prizes. And it's August, so it's hot and dry, so I kind of did some yellowed grass. And her hair already reminded me of cotton candy that you'd get at a carnival, so she's got the cotton candy hair and kind of the cotton candy dress as well. I wasn't sure what this purple thing back here was. I don't know if it's like a little jacket that she's kind of wearing over her dress, or if maybe it's just another prize she has draped around her neck, so I just colored it purple. Again, yeah, not really sure what it was, but I just tried to match it the best I could with her outfit in case it is part of it. But this is a cute page. And I did our bull rider here. This could be a boy or a girl. She does have boy chibis in here, which I like because you don't get a lot of boy chibis ever. But I could also see this being a girl. I'm gonna say it's a boy because bull riding is more of a male sport. But I'm very happy with how this page turned out. I did lots of highlights on my bull here and on his hat. I was feeling very generous with the highlights this day, evidently. But I like my little blue bull, who doesn't look very happy, by the way, about this guy being on him. Yeah, not very happy, not very thrilled. But I love coloring in this book. Just like Joshua Dunbar's book, I kind of use the little bit of grayscale she gives you as a shading guide. Hers is more simplified than Joshua Dunbar's, but the pictures look really cute with it, you know? Even though they're simple, they still look pretty cute. Next up, we have Welcome to the Village. You guys know that I want to complete this book because how much do I talk about how much I love Animal Crossing every time I show you this book? We are shopping at the Able Sisters in this one, and I tried to design these based on actual clothing items in the Animal Crossing games, and yes, I did go and see what it looks like inside the Able Sisters. They have these yellow walls with these green tables and the wood floor, and yeah, I always have to make these look kind of like they do in-game, which is that you don't have to do that. That's just how I personally do it. So I added the number 7 to the shirt back here because it had just this white circle, and I don't really know why, but for whatever reason in the Animal Crossing games, there are a lot of t-shirts that just have a number or a letter on them. And then there is a lot of white around these polka dots on her dress and a few highlights on her bow, which they're kind of not showing up so well on camera. But they're there. And then I did Bill diving for fish. And I know that this is Bill because of the little hair swoop. He's the only duck that has it. And yes, I do go look at the colors of the animal and try to match them. And if you are someone that wants to do that as well and doesn't know what animal is on the page, I can tell you every one of them. There are like 700 of them and I know them all. So if you want to message me on Instagram and you're like, hey Haley, who is this? I'll tell you. I will. I know who they are. I know. It's a problem, but I've loved this game since I was a little kid. So I know all of them, and I have all kinds of Animal Crossing merch. You can't even see it from where I'm at, but I'm literally looking at an Animal Crossing poster right now. It is like right in front of me. But this is my Bill page. He's diving. And I matched the fish with how they look in the game. I did a lot of white highlights on here, on the water, and like these splashes that are being thrown up from him diving in, you know, the little lines from the fish swimming away, and I'm really, really happy with how this one turned out. This is one of the last, like, summery pages that I've done because I'm ready to move on to some fall coloring. I did go ahead and make this like it was sand. I could have continued coloring it blue, but I thought, you know, we might be getting towards the sand here since you're starting to see the seaweed and the coral. So this is Bill having a swim. Those are my 2 pages this month. More color by number. We have the Mosaic color by numbers, Dazzling Animals, Jennifer Rowling / Cactus Girl. I don't remember what this one's published under, actually. This one might be, well, it says Jennifer Rowling on it. And then it says Bright Ideas Paper Publishing, so yeah, she published this one under her name, not Cactus Girl. I love this book. I really do. I didn't think I'd like the 4x4, but this is another book that I want to color the whole thing. So I'll show you the 2 pages I did this month. We have this lovely giraffe that was on the front cover. Now the one thing I will say about this is these are truly a mystery. There is no guide in the back, and these pages don't even say, over here it doesn't even say number 4 giraffe. You have no idea what any of these are going to be except for the few examples they give you on the front. This one was a lot of fun. I really like this red border around the giraffe, and I am using my water-based Ohuhu markers in here that I got from Christine. They work great in here, and there are a ton of colors in there, so awesome on this. I will say this giraffe page, I was a little bit confused about all the brown, but I did get it figured out. It is a giraffe. And next up we have an owl. This owl sitting over the water. Again, this one had a lot of brown on it, but some of the previous pages I did didn't have that much brown on it, so I don't really think that's a theme. This one is a fun one too. Okay, so the browns are some of the last colors you get to. If you go in order, which is what I do, I go from 1 to 25, which is black. So I was just thinking that this was like a rainbow in the background. I didn't, until just now, realize that it's supposed to be like a sunset and he's over the water. To be honest, I thought I was just doing rainbow colors in the background. And I'm just now realizing I am not doing that. That it is a sunset. But these are really fun, you know. Like I said, true mystery though, you can't tell what they are. So if I finish this one, I probably will pick up the landscape one, because that interests me more than the pattern and what I think she has like classic art. Alright, Matchstick Mouse Autumn. Did some autumn coloring this month, like I said. It's time for me to do it. I did this one here, the bat, which if you saw me do the flip through, I thought this was the Matchstick Mouse dressed up as a bat. But there is a page in here where it shows the Matchstick Mouse interacting with this bat. So they seem to be 2 different characters. I was going to see if I could find it. There it is. So they seem to be 2 different characters. But I did this one, and she's got this little thing right here. It's not a little bat, it's like a little poof. But it also has bat wings. And there's just a little bit of glitter on those fireflies down there. I just straight color these. They're just fun to color. Like, honestly, they're just fun to straight color. Simple and relaxing and adorable. Just a lot of fun to do. And then I did this one here where the Matchstick Mouse is in Little Bird Nest. And she is, I'm going to assume, decorating it with flowers. Maybe there's rain coming and these are going to be umbrellas for the baby birds. Not sure. Maybe she's just decorating. This was also a really fun one to do. This page here, these have black backgrounds on them, and my pages at the beginning are a little bit darker and the background gets a little bit lighter as you go on, almost like the printer was running low on ink, but it doesn't personally bother me. If you're wondering why the background was a little grayer on this one, that's why. Again, it doesn't bother me at all. I don't care. I could color it black if I wanted to. It just doesn't bother me. But those are my 2 pages from there. And I always color the mouse different colors every time, just because I like to. And the last book is Space Girls and Aliens, which Misty and I have been working through diligently this year to finish, and Molly has joined us several times as well, and she joined us for both of these pages this month. We have this girl here whose buns reminded me of Princess Leia, so I kind of colored her like Princess Leia. You know, Princess Leia did not wear an outfit like this, but maybe she did when she was much younger. maybe this is like Princess Leia when she was 13 or 14, I don't know. You know, could be very young, could be just a rebellious time that we did not see. But this is my Princess Leia, and I was inspired by the colors of, you know, her actual robe that she wears. Did put a lot of paint on here. It's on the ring around this planet, and it is on the tails of the comet, and then there are some highlights on her outfit and her little dagger here, which she seems to be holding this in a very dangerous way. I'm not sure I'd want to hold it by the blade. I think I'd want to hold it by this top piece. And then, of course, there is a lot of glitter. There is glitter on that little top piece there, and on the emblem on her arm, and then kind of there on her neck. And some of these stars in the background are twinkling because they are glitter too. And then I did this very blue alien. This was like one of the first pages I colored this month, and my marker started to run out on it. I used a big Spectrum Noir marker. So that's why she's a little iffy down here, but I still actually really like how this one turned out. You guys know that I like never color the backgrounds on these, but I was doing this monochrome and I was like, I might as well just color the background blue, but make it like a blue sky. Usually I would color these clouds, if you want to call them that, fumes, I don't know. It could be like space dust. A bright color, and I'd go over it with a Posca paint pen, but I left them white and went over them with a white paint pen so that it just looked like she's standing in front of like a blue sky, just a cloudy blue sky. Maybe she's on Earth. But I had a lot of fun doing this one with monochrome colors. Just all different blues. She turned out pretty cool. She looks like a fish to me. I would say that maybe these are gills. It's just got kind of like fins for ears. So that's why I went with the blue. And then there is blue glitter on her little headpiece here, and on the little star down there on her chin. I don't know if that's a tattoo or maybe it's a piece of jewelry, but I am very happy with how this page turned out. Coloring the background for once, I think it turned out pretty good, and we have just a few pages left in here. Time enough to finish it in December, so it will be finished this year, and I think that that will be the first Deborah Muller book that I have finished completely. So, if you've stayed to the end, thank you for watching. Oh, I did do, you know what? I'm saying that too early. Hold on. Did you want to see my journal for this month? You might have wanted to. I did write down Misty's Autumn August. I didn't get to film these ideas that I had because I was too busy. And I forgot to do an uncolored book, I think because I was too busy with the colored by number pages. It started out by me telling myself I wanted to do some this month because my color by number books needed some love, and then I just like went crazy with it. But here is my spread of work this month. I colored almost every day this month, which is a little unusual for me. Usually there are pretty big gaps where I didn't color, but not this month, and I colored a total of 24 pages. Which so far this year is the most I have colored in a month. I think in May I colored 22 because I colored on all of the miniature books. But yeah, that is a record for me. So, like I said, even though I was busy, I was more stressed, and I put more time out of my free time into coloring in some of these books. Now, I can say thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video.